that shit up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cincy Strikes podcast. We're on to episode 19. We did film this episode last week, but I messed up with the audio, so couldn't get it out to you guys, but we're back again. Got it fixed. So we're going to start off with the Bengals offseason, what to expect. Not really sure what to expect, especially with the pending free agents that we do have, like T and Jonah Williams. It's just like a toss-up of kind of what could happen. So I don't know. What do you guys expect with this offseason?
Personally, I think it's, minus the 2021 offseason, it's the biggest offseason that we have to nail with the emerging quarterbacks and teams in the AFC that we've seen, especially in the playoffs, that are kind of A, surprising, and B, kind of showing that it's going to be a battle for years to come. The last couple of years it was always, Bills and Chiefs are going to be there. But now you're like, okay, the Ravens, Lamar stayed healthy this season. They're a powerhouse. Stroud's looking insane. Steelers are always in the mix. So it's going to be kind of one of those off seasons where I think we have to have an A-plus off season, or we're going to kind of fall back into the cracks. Personally, I think that Jonah's gone. I would like to bring him back, but I think we're going to focus more on T, and then hopefully we try to get DJ Reader back as well.
I think with you saying that you think Jonah's gone, I think it's a good point to say that, like, if with the tackles in this draft, I think they might try to get one so they just have long-term, like, the tackle, and they ain't got to worry about, like, because how long do you guys think they'd, like, would Jonah's contract be, like, 3 years?
Probably 3 to 4 year.
Because, like, I don't even know what that, like, what's his projected contract? Anybody know?
And
because I'm just trying to think, like, I think long-term and cheaper, they might just go, like, the draft route and take one of the tackles that's in this draft.
Well, the one thing about Jonah Williams, like, he is 25.
He's he's prime. Like,
yeah. He's already been in the system, so that's the kind of thing. Like, I think we're more likely to keep T than Jonah, just because from what I've been hearing, T's number one spot is the Bengals, of course.
I feel like he's obviously going to say that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, you even look at, everybody wants to kind of compare him to Jesse Bates as far as, like, the contract structure. Bates kind of, he might have said he wanted to be in Cincinnati, but you could just kind of tell that he was kind of 1 foot out the door.
And sometimes, like, when you have a pending free agent, they're mostly just saying, well, business is business, so we'll see what happens. But, with him saying, like, hey, Bengals are my number one option.
And then you look at Jonah, and he kind of said, like, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, he wants to, spend his offseason as an offseason. So, I get that perspective. But, as us fans, we have to sit around. We have to sit through the playoffs and then sit through the, after that a little bit.
It's like March is like when it starts to kind of heat up.
Yeah.
Will you guys be surprised if T gets tagged?
No.
A little bit, just because of the market.
I think if he does, then he's for sure gone.
The year after.
Yeah.
I don't want to tag him. If anything,
just let him walk if we're gonna let him. Like, if we're not gonna.
If you can't come to a contract, I think this year, you think you should probably let him walk.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tagged him.
Just to say, like, we need, like, one more year.
And then maybe try to see what else they do in the free agency. Now, if they do tag him, it kind of limits what we're able to do, though.
Because isn't it all cap on?
Yeah, like you'd hope that they make a contract to where, he's getting paid, because at the end of the day, it is a business. He wants his money. But hopefully it's structured to where the Bengals can still go make more moves, that we're not just tied into one big player. Because there are holes that we have to fill. It's a really big free agent class. Like, there's a lot of guys that we all kind of want. Obviously, there's guys that we're not going to be able to get, but we got some holes that we need to fill. And I think this, especially in the last recent years, it's a very talented free agency.
That and, like, I think the draft class that we're getting to is pretty talented, no matter, like, where you look.
It seems like it's. Yeah, I was about to say. It seems like it's really deep.
It's a pretty loaded draft class, especially with quarterbacks. But we'll get to that later. Now, like, defensive tackle is really, like, a spot I'm looking at in the first 2 to 3 rounds.
Bring back Reader.
Yeah, obviously.
But I think I agree. Still,
obviously bring back Reader.
He won't be ready week 1, though, will he? Or
I don't know. He did say that his quad injury is not as bad as his first one that he suffered.
That's good. I thought I just saw something that he might be on the PUP list.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definite possibility. But even then, I mean, you still get that leadership, and he'll be back eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have to draft.
But that would mean
Defensive
we need to
tackle no
bring
matter-
somebody in, yeah.
We need to draft defense tackle no matter what.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree that Boyd's definitely gone. I'll be shocked if they bring him
It would
back.
have to be very cheap,
Like-
like very cheap,
And I don't see it being longer than like 2 years.
especially with his age. He's
That's what I'm
turning
saying.
30.
Yeah.
I think I would be more shocked if he came back than he wouldn't. But I could see him coming back, but it would have to be a very, very team-friendly deal. And I think he's going to be able to make more money somewhere else.
Yeah,
Like-
I think a team like, especially with Callahan, like interviewing with like the Titans and the Panthers and
Please get a job.
younger teams like that
Need a vet.
need a vet receiver there, and I think Tyler Boyd would be a perfect fit, especially if Callahan does pick one of those teams
He
or
goes to like
chooses.
one of those teams.
Especially if he gets with the Titans or the Panthers, I feel like those are good spots for Boyd
Yeah, he's
to
a
be
hard,
the veteran.
He's a hard worker. Like he
Yeah.
shows up, does his job, and he's reliable. I mean,
Like, don't get me wrong, like the Titans have DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't feel like he's like, you never hear much about him being like a veteran leader. I feel like Boyd has really embraced like the
Yeah.
big brother role in that receiver.
yeah. Plus, I mean,
room.
Hopkins he's like their deep threat. You know, Boyd would be more of their like middle of the field.
Intermediate,
Like,
yeah.
he's the slot guy. Every team needs a good slot guy.
He's reliable. I know he had his drops this year, but that's uncharacteristic for him. I don't think he'll continue it
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, I think he has like one of the highest catch percentages in Bengal history.
Yeah.
Might even be the highest. I'd have to look, but I know he's definitely.
When
Definitely
he was
up there.
He was going at that like news reporter because he was like just a guy. Did you
Yeah,
guys see
Jag.
that? Yeah. Boyd was like just a guy, huh? People in the comments are like, Boyd's done a lot for this place.
Which he has. I mean, I can't. I've been upset with Boyd this season just because he has had his drops, but I loved every bit of his career here.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
he was there through the dog days.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like in that video, I
And he
forgot
stayed,
about
too.
some
Like,
of the
he coulda
stuff that
left.
he did. Like I didn't know that he like had an argument or something. Like he was really like upset like first couple years or something. There
yeah.
was some big point that I had totally forgotten in the video that he explained. He was saying like he wasn't like how he is. He said when Zach Taylor came in, he's kind of been growing and like into the leader he is now.
You guys think that we bring a tight end in free agency?
In free agency, probably not. I see us drafting one. There's a couple of tight ends that I like. That some good blocking tight ends, especially, and like Brock Bowers
We don't
and
need
Jatavion Sanders, and
Well, I've just been seeing like the Noah Fant stuff on Twitter.
I mean,
Noah Fant would be.
It just kind of sparked the question.
we
of, like,
brought
do you
Irv
think we-
Smith in last year thinking he would be something, and he was nothing.
Right, but,
Yeah, but-
Noah Fant's a lot different. I mean, Noah Fant's a starter, day one starter.
Like
But it kind of sparked I was just wondering what you
it
guys
was
thought.
just high hopes for Irv.
Yeah, we definitely set the bar a little too high for him. I mean, he obviously his production really wasn't there anywhere else.
I don't think the bar was set too high. It's just, I mean, more than 4 receptions would have worked.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
It seemed like he never once got.
When he was getting outplayed by like Wilcox and stuff and snaps.
Yeah.
Hudson was a pleasant surprise though. He's just older. I didn't realize he was
Yeah,
already
Hudson's
29.
28. Yeah, 28, 29.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Kind of sucks. Not that he can't like still have production, in the next couple of years, but it's like, dang. Like
When he
too
first was at Rams game, when you really like start to hear his name, you're like, okay, this guy's like pretty good. And then I start like looking him up. I'm like, oh, he played in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Like, so like this guy, I think he caught Tom Brady's last pass
seriously,
in the Super Bowl.
dang, that's got to be an expensive ball.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's talked to. Someone talked about one of Tom Brady's balls. Pause.
Wait a minute, buddy. Wait a minute.
Pause. But other than like player personnel, like coaching personnel, like I see the Browns, they just made a lot of offensive moves.
Some weird moves.
Some weird ones, but like I
Like
wish
the running back coach or something.
I
It's
wish-
like their running game's been
And their
good.
tight end coach.
Yeah.
I wish we would do that in a sense of
Sometimes
we
you just got to
Just
clear
fresh faces.
like
Yeah.
obviously keep Torrey Waters here because he's great with the receivers. Our
Troy
receivers are
Walters.
great. Walter, yeah. Our receivers are great. Our running back room's good.
Darren Simmons keep him. I mean,
Obviously,
I guess
Darren Sim-
recently he hasn't been. I mean,
He can't.
I mean, what do you?
he chews Brad Robbins' ass every week. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like Darren Simmons is a bad coach. He's definitely a great special teams guy. But like I'm talking about like Frank Pollock. I mean, I feel like we
Been there, done that.
need to shorten that leash a little bit more and not be so afraid to let the reins go. Like
You got-
we gotta set them like go.
I mean, Callahan's got to get a job, right?
Hopefully, I'm real curious with Dan
I
Pitcher.
hope so.
I know you see he's
I
getting
mean,
an
I
interview.
say that.
Yeah, with the Saints.
Yeah.
Which,
Dan Pitcher
if I'm
did?
Dan Pitcher, I'm declining the interview.
I mean,
That's-
Well, I
don't
think the team
decline.
declines it.
You at least
I know,
take
but I'm
the-
saying if
Yeah.
I was him,
why?
Yeah,
though?
why would you
You
want?
at
Yeah,
least
why would
take
you want to
the
go to the
interview.
Saints?
You at least get the
Yeah, but I'm
interview,
saying like you
you at
definitely
least get interview
go. I
experience.
mean, if you're the quarterback coach and you kind of see that Callahan might be coming back, and then you're offered an offensive coordinator job, you take it. I think it would be a miss by the Bengals there, letting a guy like that out of your organization.
again, sometimes you have to take a step back to take a couple steps forward.
Yeah,
Because if he goes to the Saints, you're stuck with Derek Carr for 3 years.
Yeah.
You're stuck with no money. You're stuck with limited production from the offensive side.
You got a lot.
but you have talent. You have talent there, though.
Shahid's a
Is-
baller.
is,
Shahid's gone.
Is
Is
Kamara
he?
gone, or is he on his
Kamara has another 2 years.
2 years? I knew his contract was
What do
kind
you
of.
mean, bro? Jamal Williams, Jameis Winston.
They have Olave.
But he gets Derek Carr for
That-
out of
now-
ton of money.
Now I will say that would be the biggest deterrent.
I just
But
want
I
new
think you
faces,
should take the
honestly.
interview.
I just want.
Take the interview.
Yeah,
but
that's why I
don't
said
take
you
the
get
job.
the interview experience. Is my point.
Just because, I mean, you look at like what the Saints have. They have.
Get to know some people.
I mean, their front office is pretty bad. I mean, I don't know how you're going to sit there and sign
How do you-
Derek Carr
How do
to
you
that
keep
much money.
Dennis Allen? Dennis Allen's not that good of a.
Would you see what they said today?
Yeah, which I kind of agreed with.
Yeah, I get it.
What'd they
I get
say?
Yeah,
it.
what they say.
It was
You
something
gotta-
about like a couple like Hall of Fame coaches start off like their first 4 or 5 seasons were losing seasons,
Yeah,
horrible
their
seasons,
first 3.
and then then you
Zach
kind of
Taylor.
Well, I kind of agree. Like the NFL's kind of become like you have to be productive your first year, and it
Mhm.
always used to be like even with quarterbacks, give them 2-3 years to kind of develop. It's kind of switched to now like if they're not good in the first 2 years, you move on, and it's almost like you're kind of
You gotta
limiting.
give 'em time.
Yeah, you have to give them time, like especially a coach because like they're not even getting their system.
Well, see,
They're
I
not
was-
even
Like getting their guys
players.
in,
Yeah,
yeah.
like look at Zach Taylor. You just brought him up. I mean, his first 2 years were abysmal. He gets his guys in there. His couple of drafts are hitting, start winning, flip the script. I mean,
I was thinking about that like a couple episodes ago or last episode. I was talking about how like Matty Eberflus, I don't know how he's still with the Bears, and then I listened to Chris Long's podcast and he was talking about how Matty Eberflus has like got those guys ready to play. Like he might be like a great
they've actually won more games.
like
this
their
year.
defense. Like their defense was starting to look really good, and that's Matty Eberflus's job is he's a defensive guy. So I mean their defense really started to step up. So maybe that's why they kept them and fired everyone on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at like, especially with coaching improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a guy goes in there, say they're 4-13 when he gets hired,
You want to see maybe like
they win 5 games.
5-6 wins.
Then the next year they win
depending
7
on
games.
depending on circumstances, like if you like bring in big names or something, or like
Yeah, but even then, like I think you got to give a coach 2 to 3 years. Just
Oh,
just
yeah,
my
I
personal
agree.
opinion. Because I mean, they're going into somebody else's system and players. Like you got to think like the first 2 drafts are really what kind of dictates a coach because unless like you're going in there with a top 3 pick, that kind of changes it in my opinion because then you're getting your franchise guy if you need a quarterback. Kind of help with
which is kind of what a lot of it's come to nowadays is like the coaches will get hired
Well,
on
see,
with
There's a couple
and they'll
like
get to bring in their guy.
their guy.
I agree with that in the
Draft
sense besides like Philadelphia situation. If I'm in Philadelphia, I'm firing Nick Sirianni
You think so?
just for the basic fact their locker room fell into absolute turmoil.
Yeah.
And their locker room completely shut down after having that talented of a roster. And that falls on their coach and their culture. Obviously, he didn't build a good enough culture to really stay fit. You look at the Bengals, like we went through those losing stretches. Not once did our team fall apart.
No, they always. I mean, there's a difference. Like wait it out, buy into what we got. Like stick with us. That's kind of like the theme. It was like stick with us.
I mean, there was just always seemed like there was stuff going on. I mean, secretly, like they didn't really announce it until like later in the season that they secretly switched defense coordinators like Matt
To Matt
Patricia,
Patricia, which is a huge
And,
mistake.
yeah,
Also,
and it was like he.
and then again,
it
that's
seemed
on
like they
that's
got
on Nick
worse
Sirianni.
even when that happened, and it's like
That's again on head coaching. I mean, you can't.
I think you give Sirianni another year to kind of maybe A, see if he can get the locker room back, and B, kind of because I mean they went to the Super Bowl, and then this year obviously they melted down in the last half.
I
of
mean,
the season.
but you look at their Super Bowl run. Their defense was absolutely insane.
yeah,
They were number
something.
one in almost
And it's
every
like
category.
They got a lot of the same guys back,
and they
Just
got most of their players
got
back.
some good rookies in too.
And then their defense
Well,
completely fell
it's just
apart.
Jalen, maybe.
yeah. I think I agree that Sirianni should be on the hot seat, but and honestly I could see them firing him just because there are a lot of really good coaches out there. This cycle.
And he's an offensive guy, and then him and Brian Johnson just failed
Yeah.
with that offense. I mean, Jalen Hurts is talented, but you can't dial up screen, deep ball, tush
Yeah.
push, tush push. You know what I mean? That's a horrible game plan all around. That puts Jalen Hurts in a bad position. That puts your wide receivers in a bad position, and it made DeAndre
Yeah.
Swift look like a nobody this
They
year.
were a big play offense. Like if they weren't hitting those big plays, they were just shut
I mean,
out.
like their 7-game win streak where they had AJ Brown 100+ yards. You're like, this is an electric offense, and then they kind of teams
Didn't
figure out.
AJ delete all of his
Yeah,
Eagles
but
stuff too?
they came out and said that he was just doing that to like lock in for the playoffs. Like I don't think he was actually
Lock in for he didn't even
He
play.
That's
no,
what I
but he
said.
was trying to play. Like he was trying to get in healthy. It was just his knee.
I don't know. It just seems like him and Diggs, like in the off seasons, like or if they don't do well in the playoffs, it's like they're
I
ready
don't think
to bail.
I don't think AJ Brown wants out though.
I don't think AJ Brown wants out, but I think he's naturally going to be forced out just because they're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts this coming year. Like
keeps
his
up, like,
contract
this-
Didn't
kicks
they already
in.
pay AJ Brown though?
Yeah,
yeah,
they gave him
but-
the extension like
yeah.
right when they traded for him.
So
Yeah.
he's already paid.
It keeps up the streak of like teams coming off a Super Bowl loss, or like the next year they don't do very well.
They
Like,
are
they'll
the
make
fifth,
the playoffs.
they're the fifth
Bengals
team
did.
in the
Yeah,
Super
they
Bowl
make the
era
ship.
to not get a third or fourth down
AFC.
conversion in a playoff game,
Yeah,
which that speaks
The
volumes.
Bucks stopped that tush push.
that
And
game
That
was
was
just wild
that was
though.
I mean, I don't know if the Buccaneers came out and just
Baker, man.
you got to give them their flowers. I mean, they came out and they made
Baker
plays.
looked good.
They looked like the better. I mean, well, the Eagles couldn't tackle. I think that was what.
Well, they had 10 missed tackles, which
mean,
is
that's-
horrible.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, Baker had a Baker game where he was just dialed in. Like
He's still dangerous.
he was walking out of the tunnel, hitting the smelling salts. Like
He's like one of like I don't remember the number of quarterbacks to win playoff games for two different teams, two or more teams.
Well, it's him, Brady,
And like
Manning,
Montana.
Montana.
Did he win a playoff game with the Chiefs?
I'm pretty sure, but it's like an elite company. Like it's all like Hall of
I
Fame
hope Baker
quarterbacks.
gets the extension.
I think he
that's
will.
that's what, remember we talked about
Yeah.
that last week on the episode that didn't get.
I
the
think he
show.
will.
We talked
I
about
still
how
think
I said like when we were doing picks, like Baker's gonna show. That's why I took the Bucks. Baker's gonna show.
I still have
why
a
he
weird
needs an
feeling
extension.
like this year or next year's Todd Bowles' last year there.
yeah, he's
Just, it doesn't seem like they're really too interested with him. And I've heard like if they didn't win this playoff game, they're probably going to move on from him anyways. But
not now.
not yet. Can't now. But like they play who they play this week?
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
I mean, it's a tough game, but it's winnable.
It's definitely winnable.
They're gonna be airing the ball out and no like weather conditions. Did you see that crazy?
Yeah.
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 Did you see it, Jordan?
Mm-mm.
It was like somebody,
the,
news reporter.
Oh,
Yeah.
the news,
not
all that.
news, but-
Okay,
Could do
yeah,
that
never
last
mind,
night.
yeah.
Dude,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Super wild card weekend should have been called freaking blowout weekend.
Yeah, every game was a blowout,
Except
which
for
was
the Rams Lions.
yeah.
I mean, every game was a blowout.
Which I was expecting that Buccaneers and Tampa Bay game to be. We all picked the Buccaneers to win, but I thought it would be a lot closer.
Yeah,
I think we all did. I think we all thought it was gonna be a close game, but the Bucks pulled it out. But
That's not
what happened.
Eagles didn't even show up.
no,
no.
I don't know what happened to them.
They already-
but
They were looking for that Cancun trip. I guess.
Cancun on 3.
Yeah.
it's like they went away from the run game or something.
Their offense was poorly ran, and then they just relied.
They couldn't stop.
They're gonna blame
Tampa.
it on Jalen's injury.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop
Saying
Tampa.
back
either.
Jalen was hurt. Jalen was hurt. He couldn't.
I think the biggest shock though had to have been Green Bay.
And again, that's on head coaching too.
Yeah.
They should have shut Jalen Hurts down a couple
Let
weeks
him get
before.
healthy.
You
You
have
knew
Mariota. He's one of
you
the
kn-
better backups.
You know what I mean? Like you knew you had a playoff spot secured.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically shut down your starting quarterback if he's dealing with an injury, which he was.
Because you didn't even win the division anyway.
Yeah. So what's the point? And now it just, I mean, he could have got hurt worse. I don't think he did, but he could have got hurt worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest surprise was Green Bay.
I mean,
I thought Dallas was actually going to go in there and smack 'em.
27-0 at one
You
point.
guys are surprised. I'm not.
You were okay. You're
You
not
guys are
that
surprised.
They won, but you're surprised they got that. Was the outcome though?
No, I'm not surprised. No.
27-0
Oh,
at
I'm
one
sure,
point.
brother.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't believe in
Uh-huh.
Dak. I don't believe in
Right,
Mike McCarthy.
but
I don't. That
even if
team
Green
is
Bay
so
was gonna
fraudulent.
But that was dude letting up 48 points though.
The Cowboys
Aaron
are the
Jones, 3
NFC
touchdowns.
version of the Dolphins.
I wasn't surprised by that game. Tua's
cold.
not built. Tua's not built for the playoffs.
I don't know why they didn't run the ball.
No.
And I
A-Chain
No.
had like 4
Kurt,
carries.
Kurt
but-
Warner was on a podcast talking about how playoff games should be played indoors because
No.
You take a warm weather team, you put them in a cold weather
Well, that's
team's
the point of
environment.
home field advantage, though.
That's quite
That's
literally.
why Miami. It was
you
so
should have
important
beat
for
Buffalo.
Miami. Yeah, that's what.
You
They
should
should have
beat-
won any other
at
games before.
home.
You should have beat Buffalo at home to win the division, so
There was
you
other
get a
games they
home
could have
playoff
won
game.
too. Like they got spanked by Baltimore, right? Yeah, they got spanked.
And
by
again, Mike
Baltimore.
McDaniel didn't even show up either. His offensive game plan was horrible.
Well, yeah, that. And
But it was probably horrible because he felt handicapped by Tua.
yeah, they need to get you see that they're committed to bringing Tua back long term.
Yeah, again, you can't.
Oh, he's
do
the
that.
other one that hasn't got his contract yet.
Yeah, but he's apparently going to get paid this offseason by him.
I wouldn't pay him 3 nickels. He's such a bad quarterback.
I would trade up for a pick.
Yeah.
trade two.
Or you just have him back for another year, and then you just take whoever you get next year.
Because I mean,
You only got like 2 more years, Tyreek. Remember?
Yeah,
that was like last year.
dude, he's honestly comedy. I mean, man got his ring, and you could just tell
He just wanted his bag.
Usually like I'm okay with like quarterback and like their rack yards, but Tua underthrows balls and throws it behind him and does a
Yep.
lot of screen passes, and that's how he gets most of his yards, and the receivers get most of their yards.
that ball
Like,
to Tyreek was a horrible throw.
oh yeah,
I mean, I get it. It was like -30, but like he had him burnt by 2 steps. If Tyreek, I mean, I don't know. That was a crazy play.
But if you want to be paid, you have to make throws in
Oh
those
yeah,
conditions.
you have to. Yeah.
That's
I
like,
mean,
this is
Mahomes
like-
was dotting him up.
This was like Burrow playing in the snow. Like that the Buffalo division game. That was the first time T. Higgins ever played in snow. Jamar's
Yep.
ever played in snow. Probably the first time Burrow's ever played in snow. I don't know. I don't know
Well,
if
he
he did
played.
back.
He's from Ohio, so he probably. Played.
I mean, T was from Tennessee, so you think he would have, but he didn't. So, and then Burrow they went in and smacked Buffalo in the mouth in
Yep.
their home field with their environment.
They
What's the
be like,
difference?
it
No.
wasn't as cold.
They wore white uniforms.
Yeah.
Come
That's
on
the
now.
difference between a good quarterback and a great quarterback, though.
Yeah.
Like Tua's good. I'm not gonna say he's not good because he is good. He's just not great. That's just my opinion on him. I think he's good enough to make you the playoffs, which he's proven. But he's not great. Like he's not gonna elevate you.
No.
He's not gonna carry you.
He's like a left-handed Andy Dalton. Got to
I
have
mean,
an
that's
amazing team.
A career,
That's a
like,
diss to Andy
that-
Dalton.
I mean, I think it's a pretty fair comparison. I mean, Tua did lead the league in passing yards. You know, I mean,
Rack yards.
still, I mean, that is to where you have to say at least like he's good enough. He's just not great enough to win you a playoff game.
You just need a team around him. Just get a real good team.
I mean, he has
a
Tyreek
great team
Hill.
around him.
Yeah.
They do have a good. They have.
He has the most inventive offensive mind in the game besides Kyle Shanahan.
They should have, like, honestly, on paper, they should have beaten Kansas City.
Oh, 100%.
Injuries, bro. That's
But
what they're gonna say.
But again, even with good weather, they didn't beat Kansas City and Germany.
I think Kansas City would have beat them in Miami.
Oh, 100%. Kansas City was winning that game. Now, what's interesting is like Kansas City's going into Buffalo this week, which is
His first.
weird that
game.
it's
Road
Mahomes'
playoff
first
game ever.
road playoff game.
Testament to him, though. I mean, that's just how.
Good they are.
He's got his 12th playoff win before. Like
His
Manning
first
got
playoff.
his 12th
He's like-
playoff
he's like,
win
what,
in his
eighth?
last year.
He's like 8th all time in playoff wins as a quarterback. Crazy. It's crazy.
It is kind of insane.
I'm not a Mahomes, meat rider, but that's impressive.
But I think Buffalo wins. I'll put a prediction. I think Buffalo wins.
You guys ready
against
for the
Kansas City.
Gluck Fest?
All from Tony Romo.
Dude,
You guys have been
The
seeing
the memes on Twitter are hilarious.
I can't. I mean, Flacco came back down to earth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We didn't even really talk about that.
Well, yeah, that game. I'll give it the MVP of that game is not C.J. Stroud,
D'Amico Ryan.
but their offensive coordinator. I don't know his name.
Bobby Slovic.
Yeah, it's the
Slovic.
one
That
coach
guy-
that's not a head coach that left him that Washington staff.
He put together a perfect game plan for that Browns defense.
He's
I mean, look
getting
at the,
coaching.
Dude, the
Yeah.
misdirection.
look at the throws that Stroud had to make. Stroud made perfect throws. Don't get me wrong, but they were wide open receivers, which that's all on coordinating and execution.
They don't even have Tank, right? Tank
No,
is
he's hurt. He's out for the
They
season.
don't have
No Brown either anymore.
yeah, no, he's out for the season too.
Nico,
And he
wide
got
receiver one Collins.
yeah.
In which I believe the Texans can go into Baltimore and put up a good game.
I think they can beat him.
Yeah.
We've
I'm
seen
probably
seen
gonna take
Lamar.
the points plus 9.5.
We've seen Lamar in the playoffs. He
That's
has
a
to
lot of
prove me
points in
wrong.
the playoffs, bro.
Until
Well,
Lamar
maybe.
proves me
Blowouts.
wrong in the playoffs, I'm gonna pick the Texans.
I know. I'm liking D'Amico as a head
Typically,
coach.
John Harbaugh and Lamar, they just fall apart. in the
Well,
playoffs.
Of course,
in the
Mark Andrews
playoffs-
is back though.
You know, in the playoffs, especially against a scrappy Houston team, 1 or 2 turnovers can make all the difference.
Oh
And
yeah,
that
And-
defense is.
I was going to say, Houston.
Houston was getting after Flacco.
They played each other
like
week
you,
one.
you can blame Flacco for a couple of those picks, but that defensive line was relentless, and they were facing James Houston, which I mean is a horrible right tackle, and I hate that guy for losing the Bearcats the Peach Bowl a couple years ago, so I'm not a fan of him.
I bet Miami wishes they still had Larry Tunsil.
Yeah,
He
he
shut
made
Myles Garrett down.
Myles Garrett didn't. He recorded 1 tackle,
Like he
zero
shut him
pressure, 0
down.
QB hits, 0 sacks.
I think all of Houston's O line played amazing.
excellent.
Oh, yeah.
excellent. And Brown's defensive line's no joke either.
Their front
I mean,
seven.
You'd
Yeah.
say probably best in the league, or
I'd say best in the
maybe
league.
second to the Niners. I would probably take.
I'd-
the Niners.
I'd say
the
Niners
Yeah,
over.
the Niners, yeah, but
but
That's it.
that's it. Yeah.
I mean, they were just wrecking the
The
game.
Browns had 2 corners who were top 10 in every category too.
Yeah.
Where were they at?
I mean, I
Competitive.
the Browns safety, I don't know what his name was, but he was,
He was a rookie from Ohio State.
rookie from Ohio State. He played horribly.
Yeah.
He did not step up in Juan Thornhill's spot.
Because Delpit's out. Grant Delpit.
Yeah, but Juan Thornhill was out too for them, so that didn't help at all.
Yeah, no.
But again, like I just think Houston's offense coordinator put together a perfect game plan.
You
Shows
think
how much you need safeties in this
Yeah.
league.
you think Green Bay keeps it going in San Francisco?
No.
Ooh, no.
Oh, but
Oh, you
next week if they
The
somehow
Cowboys
win,
are-
I knew it.
The Cowboys are
Go back, play the
fraudulent.
tape.
No,
San Fran beat the Cowboys by what, 32? Was that the score? Was it by 32 points? They had Sam Darnold start the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'm not really
Jordan Love, baby. It's a
I
love story.
love Jordan Love. He's a good quarterback.
I-
But
I-
San Fran is a really well coached
Nah,
team
San-
and they execute.
And I think they're on a mission this year.
Yeah.
Everybody was clowning them last year when they lost to the Eagles because they, 3
But come on,
quarterbacks got hurt,
Brock Purdy went out and
and then their second string got hurt.
let's not forget that the Eagles got gifted a touchdown from Deontay Smith dropping a ball that was called a catch. I won't forget that. That was probably the worst call in the playoffs last year.
What are you talking about?
It was down the sideline first quarter. It was like the first drive. He threw it deep to Devontae Smith. It hit the ground and then bounced back up, and they called it a catch, even after review.
So you're going with Buffalo, Houston, San Fran, and who? You taking that Tampa,
The
Detroit?
Tampa Bay and Detroit. I mean, I like both teams. I really do.
Yeah, it's like the game you don't want to pick a winner.
Yeah, that's so true.
should we all pick our team to the divisional round?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
All right, so you already have Buffalo.
I'm gonna take Buffalo too.
Right, it's Buffalo's.
No,
year.
I'll take Buffalo.
At least in the AFC side.
But Josh Allen, see, he's on a
That's what I
mission.
said. He's on a mission.
52-yard
He's
tutty.
running. He's running on. He's just running all over the place.
That Houston.
I guess you're
Baltimore-
used to seeing
I'll
him run,
take.
but
I know you guys will probably all take Baltimore, but again, like I said, Lamar's gonna have to prove me wrong before I.
You see whose jersey I'm wearing? I'm taking the boy Stroud in Houston.
I also am rocking with Houston. I
That's
love
it.
Houston.
I took Houston last week. I'm taking them again.
Okay, so we're all riding with Houston. We all rode with Buccaneers last week.
Yep.
Don't.
Oh, mine.
'Cause we'll
Hey,
tuck you in.
Buccaneers
Gonna
also
change.
9.5-point dog.
Green Bay at San Fran. I'm going to take San Fran. I think Jordan Love is really good. I think that inexperienced Green Bay team is going to be a force going forward. I think Matt LaFleur's really got them ready to go. But again, I don't trust their defense just because of Joe Barry. He's not that good of a defensive coordinator. Dak gave them a couple freebies. So,
Yeah.
and Aaron Gordon ran the ball really well against a poor defensive plan that Dan Quinn put together for the Cowboys. So, but again, I don't think the Niners are going to do that. They got 2 weeks of prep and rest. I think I think San Fran runs it.
I think it's gonna be close. Maybe not close, but it'll be closer than I think this spreads. We said what 9.5.
Yep.
I would probably take the points on that.
I was gonna say I'd probably take the points, but I'm taking San Francisco. I think they probably win somewhere in the realm of 31-24, 31 maybe 27 at the closest.
I could see it.
But I do think San Francisco probably gets up early. Green Bay, very young team. I think their average age is their average age is 25.
25.2
Yeah,
or
youngest
something
team in the league, right?
Yeah.
Heck of a season. I mean, LaFleur has shown that he can win without Rodgers. But I just think San Francisco is a juggernaut, and I think they, like we just said, they are coming out with a vengeance this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think San Francisco is going to win that game.
I'm also taking San Fran. I think that they're just going to go run heavy in this game. I think we could see maybe some Jair Alexander getting the upset and stuff. A little drama around him all season and stuff.
And
But yeah.
I'll say, I think Brock's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I do trust Brock Purdy a lot more than Dak Prescott. I think they're both in the same realm of, game managers, but I just think Kyle Shanahan's offense really opens it up for Brock Purdy, and I think that's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
They have a lot more. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot more talent, but they do have more talent, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Debo, IU, McCaffrey, and Kittle.
I think McCaffrey's really, the big stepping stone that San Fran has over Dallas.
Absolutely.
Dallas doesn't have a good running back. Tony Pollard we thought would be running back 1. He's obviously a running back 3. That dude
Daddle, bro.
poorly. He had the chance to show what he is, and he completely failed.
He did last year, and then they said they have all trust in him this year. And
that's
then
what I mean.
nothing even
he
happened.
shit the bed as a number 1.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, who you riding with?
The Niners.
Okay, so we have
Thought about Green Bay, but it's, like Gary said, they're a young team. Like you said, Brock Purdy is better than Dak, so.
The Niners don't really have a hole. They don't have a gaping hole on that team.
Mm-mm.
Their special teams is good, their defense is really good, and their offense is really good. It's kind of you're going to have to really cause some mistakes from them. Like Baltimore, Purdy threw 4 picks. You're going to have to get something like that for them to happen. I just don't see that happening.
Nope. In Tampa, Detroit, who you guys rocking with? That's a toss.
I'm going to go with the home team in Detroit. They're buzzing. I mean, Goff was fired up. Campbell was fired up. I mean, did you guys listen to any of that locker room stuff after?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Campbell had them fired up. I just think that team is more rounded than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a team that I think is very, if they're on, they're on. But if they're not, they're not. I mean, it's the same team that just barely beat the Panthers 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit's and they've proven that they can beat the top teams in the league. And they're on a mission. So I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with the home team.
Got to rock with the Lions. They're just – I don't know, that this first playoff win in forever. It means a lot to them. I know they're all fired up, especially Dan
Time
Campbell.
to make a run?
I hope so. They're just
They getting stopped by these boys.
Here we go.
I'm taking the Bucks, baby. They're playing indoors. It's time to air it out. They're about to show the flaws in that Detroit defense. Unless there's going to be the one person that's going to have to be a big factor in that game, and that's Brian Branch. If he's been a little key factor. If he's making plays out there for them, I think they will probably be winning for sure. But I want to rock with Tampa in that offense. Baker walking out, getting the smelling salts.
He's going to be hyped up.
I don't know. I just want to rock with Baker and the boys and Mike Evans. I don't know. I think they're going to air it out against Detroit.
I think I'm going to stay in on business with the Buccaneers.
I like it 2-2 split.
Just because I love Baker way too much to go against
the way
Baker.
they looked too. I mean, I know it's the Eagles and we say it's the Eagles, but it's I'm saying the Eagles because the last 7 weeks or however long it's been,
7 or 8 weeks.
It's looked like a totally different team than what we saw before. It's wow, they switched their defense coordinator secretly and they went to crap.
All right, real quick before we get into the head coaching moves, I just want to give you guys a shout out and had fun with the boys. It's probably our last time filming here. Hopefully, we have a new studio coming up. Get all this stuff shipped in. We'll start live streaming on YouTube and probably on X if we can get that figured out and get more content out. A lot more content.
Better overall quality too. It'll be a better look, more consistent look, and we'll just be able to do a lot more.
More
stuff.
of a welcoming look.
Yeah.
Better lighting, better seating arrangements, better. More relaxed for us. We're filming it at my work currently, so it's kind of
I'm excited though.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big step for us.
New year, new beginnings for the pod.
100%. We got Dead Threads, so if you guys go to deadthreads.shop and use code Cincy Stripes, you do get 10% off your order. They did just get in premium shirt qualities on there, and I'm going to have to order one. They're a little bit more expensive.
Baseball season's coming up. I'm probably going to give me that Ellie shirt.
Yeah, the premium shirts look really nice. Their designs are awesome. So definitely check out deadthreads.shop and use code Cincy Stripes for 10% off. On the head coaching, a lot of
confusing stuff.
Loaded head coaching.
I
year.
didn't think Pete was going to be out.
I didn't think he'd be out, and then if he was out, I didn't think that he would just be off the market like that, kind of
no.
shifting to a front office role.
I think that was probably their agreement was like, hey, Pete wants to stay with
You think
Seattle.
you think he might ever become like a GM?
I think he could. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's very well. I mean, good drafter. Be kind of cool.
Really well football educated guy.
Yeah.
Probably have to be soon.
Players love playing for him.
76
72.
or 72.
Players love playing for him unless your name's Russell Wilson or Richard Sherman or
Man, too big.
Earl
Marshawn
Thomas. Unless you're a bigger name, people they don't like them. But open positions are the Panthers, Raiders, Commanders, Falcons, Chargers, Seahawks, Bears offense coordinator. I put that on there and say it's a
Caleb
huge.
Williams.
That's
got
a
the first
huge.
pick, so.
It's a
Unless-
huge job.
Or Justin Fields.
And then the Titans have an open position. And Brian Callahan's, he's about to get a second interview with the Titans. He's interviewed with the Falcons. And I suspect
New face.
the Raiders stick with Antonio Gibson. I suspect
Pierce. Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Gibson.
This is a running back.
You're good.
But the Falcons interviewed Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick. I'm thinking they lean more towards Bill Belichick.
Dude, that'd be so weird.
That'd be
It's
wild.
they're a younger team, and I think they need a leader like him in that locker room.
He's gonna want to get his quarterback though.
Oh, soon, yeah,
It'd be. I mean, they have what, like the
eighth pick.
eighth pick. So I mean, he's gonna be able to get.
Same pick for.
He's
like
gonna be able to
3
get a
straight years.
decent quarterback.
Yeah, probably like Jane Daniels. I suspect.
Pitts,
Maybe unless he wants to trade for Justin Fields.
Pitts
I mean,
should be happy. He likes to use his tight end.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'd be ecstatic.
like I think
Yeah, right. John New.
New.
It's John New season. They'll draft somebody else too.
the Commanders. I don't know what they're really
Broncos.
looking for. Seahawks. I haven't heard anything.
I mean, you'd think Commanders would just
Oh, I
go
heard-
straight to be
I
enemy,
saw
right?
that Seahawks Ben Johnson could be the favorite from Detroit.
Do you think the Commanders don't go be enemy?
Nah, from what I'm hearing, they're not really that big of a fan of Bieniemy.
My thing is,
Which I heard they might not even keep him as OC this year either.
What? That's kind of wild.
did you see that?
That's what I saw like on Twitter with a couple
You
of
see
news reports. You know
Rivera's
what I mean?
cool.
Like,
Cool. He wants to keep coaching. He's cool with
being a
keep
defensive coordinator.
coordinator? Yeah, he'd be a good. I mean, he was obviously a good DC.
Yeah.
But if Ben Johnson gets hired for the Seahawks, I see that. Like, I'd feel like he'd want to come in with getting his quarterback too.
I think the Seahawks.
I wouldn't want to rock with Geno if you're.
I
Ben
saw
Johnson.
Yeah,
Seahawks
they
like
just paid him.
interview Dan Quinn. So I mean,
Yeah, I think Dan Quinn's gonna be leaving Dallas.
yeah,
Another defensive head coach becomes the. Isn't
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's defensive, right? Or is he offensive?
He was kind of a good mix. I mean,
he was a pretty good mix.
a good, great college coach. Came from. So, I don't know. I still think the most intriguing job out of all of those is the Falcons to me.
I think that's the best job.
Them and the Chargers, to me.
My only problem with the Chargers is their money.
No,
But
I
other
just
than
think you have the quarterback there.
outside of you do have Justin Herbert, who is a easy top 5, top 8.
That's where I see Harbaugh going to the Raiders or the Chargers.
I see more of the Chargers.
I
for
see
Harbaugh.
Belichick go to the Chargers or the Falcons, like you said.
Falcons to me
I see Harbaugh taking that Sean Payton route with the Chargers.
Like,
You know what I mean? Like you kind of take an experienced team. You know, you do get I mean, he already has Herbert, but you just really coach them to win, and then you just
take
use
your
what
lumps this year,
Yes.
figure out what you have, and then next year is really the year that you kind of come out of like, because you already have. I mean, the thing with them is you have your quarterback. Now you're in cap hell.
I like the Panthers. Like Panthers is an intriguing job because you do have your quarterback in Bryce Young,
But you have
but
to,
again, you have horrible ownership
that's what would steer me away from the Panthers.
and like
Ownership who just kind of doesn't really know what's going on. It seems like.
no. Bears offensive coordinator. I mean, if you're a coordinator in this game or a quarterback coach or someone who's looking to make the next step, I think
pitcher.
the Bears offense coordinating job is the
Yeah.
most intriguing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if the enemy's out in Washington,
Oh,
he should
100%.
100% go
He's
there.
out.
No, he's just saying he might be.
Could be. Could possibly.
I mean, if you're him too, and they're not going to give you that job,
Is he getting interviewed?
do you leave anyway? I mean, I would leave.
No.
I mean, you went to there and became the offensive coordinator / head coach. They kind of did that with Ron Rivera there because you thought you were going to be getting the job next.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Like the whole reason you did that is because you want the head coaching spot.
New
Yeah.
ownership, though.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But they got new ownership.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's new ownership. Maybe it's not. They didn't. Maybe the other guys want to be enemy, but
Dan Snyder made him.
Mike Tomlin's returning to the Steelers for another year. I imagine he's going to finish out his contract. He does have another year. So I imagine he might just finish that out, see what happens. Mike McCarthy's returning, which is probably a huge problem for Dallas.
That means Dak's back.
I get it in a sense of the consistency in the regular season. He's won 36 games the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's impressive. It's almost like they're kind of like afraid to make that move because
It's like Dallas's highs are really high,
Yeah.
but their lows are way too low.
and that's what I was about to say. Like they just you can't go off a great regular season, win the division, and lay an egg like that at home.
That's been the Cowboys thing for the last 20 years, though. It's great regular season, poor.
It just also Deron Bland should not be an All-Pro.
And I think Jerry Jones
He got
does need to
showed
take a
that.
step back
Man got
from what
torched
he
by
does with the team.
Packers receiver.
I think Vrabel would have been a fun
I
hire
think-
for them.
I think as a
Easily,
owner,
yeah.
I feel like he's a little too involved with the team.
Yeah,
I think because he tries to, like, not saying he should coach the head coach, but
micromanage them.
yeah,
Has Vrabel gotten any?
That's what I'm saying.
you
Where
know,
I haven't
would-
seen anything.
I'm trying to picture where Vrabel would even go.
It's been real quiet for him.
I wouldn't want to go to the
So far.
Panthers, like especially if you're
No, all these
He'd
other-
be a good coach for them though.
I think
Commanders could be a
Raiders,
good spot for the
Raiders.
Commanders.
Didn't they say
for
they could probably
Vrabel.
going back with Pierce?
all these other openings, they
Yeah.
want Brian Callahan.
Who?
Panthers, Raiders, Commanders, Falcons, Chargers,
I
Seahawks.
hope. I just want a new
Titans,
face,
Sparrows,
bro.
see,
Like I
they
love
want
Callahan. I just want a new face.
Are there anybody in the playoffs still that is going to get like off? Like you think Slovic will get
Like,
interviews
well,
probably?
the-
Titans?
I would
the-
imagine.
Texans
Well,
head
Mike
coach.
McDonald's getting interviews.
Mike
Offensive
McDonald's, the
coordinator.
Lions,
Ben
offensive
Johnson.
coordinator.
Because I always kind of wait until the playoffs are
And
over
their
for
defen-
coaches because
somebody's
You know what I
defense
mean?
coordinator too.
Ravens.
Or-
Mike McDonald.
yeah,
But I mean, head coaching is going to be a whirlwind this year. See what happens with that.
it's so weird because there's very like good coaching opportunities, and then they went back with McCarthy. I think they just didn't want to go with a new face. I think that's all it really is.
And I keep seeing reports like the Raiders like Jim Harbaugh and like J.J. McCarthy. I'm like, that's a tough.
Well, obviously the owner is the Raiders, but it's like the owner really wants Harbaugh. It's like everybody else I
Yeah.
think wants to keep Pierce.
Yeah, which doesn't really make sense to me if your best player in Max Crosby comes out and says, "I'm requesting a trade if you don't bring back
Yeah.
that coach." Max Crosby probably will 100% request a trade if they don't bring him back.
Players play for their coach. You know what I mean? So
And I could see it.
It's
I
a
mean,
big
he's a guy
factor.
who stands on business.
yeah,
Like
100%.
and why would you want you to get rid of your best player? So
Yep. But did you guys see that NCAA 24 has an expected release date now of July 20th?
can't wait.
Or
It's
July
probably
12th?
just PS5 only. That probably.
Well, yeah, it's going to be next gen only.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what's gonna make me buy the PS5.
Yeah, you're going to have to get one.
Yeah.
I'll sell you mine. Like we all talked about that, but and I put in like July 12th. Like, will this ruin the sales for Madden 25 in August?
People are still gonna buy it.
Yeah, I know.
Probably-
100%. 100.
Yeah, people are always
Is it
gonna
gonna be
buy
named
Madden.
Madden 25? And then we already have Madden 25
Yeah, it's
with
just
the
gonna be-
anniversary.
It's still
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
Madden
Madden
25.
Oh, that's still just gonna be.
yeah, the
Madden.
Madden 25 was just because it was the 25th.
Well, no, I know that's why it was. I didn't know.
They're just
Um,
going to stick with the same name.
I think that it might affect it like the first couple of weeks, but it's not going to affect the overall sales now.
Yeah.
Because Madden, it seems like it should. But the only thing that sucks about Madden is it's like rinse, wash, repeat. Like it's the same
That's
game.
what.
Yeah, it's nothing
That's
new.
why everybody complains because they say they're gonna make changes. They can make. Good
That's why, like,
changes,
I
and
hope-
it's just
I
pretty
hope-
much a copy and
Me
paste.
and Eric were
they-
talking.
Yeah, they make changes. Is that
Control
they
the
bring back
roster.
stuff that they had in Madden 06.
Yeah,
Throw
bring
it in
some
Madden
game
24,
modes. Like,
yeah, and
Well, it's
bring
like-
back
like
some
all
game
brand new.
modes and stuff.
Well, me and Eric were talking about last night. Like, EA has like one hell of a marketing team because they rope you in to buy that new game every year, but they just can't give you a good product.
Nope.
I hope that NCAA, like the career mode, is fun.
Was it Madden that the report came out? It's like this is the make or break game.
That was supposed to be this Madden game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely should have broke them.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
don't
But-
think it
but
did.
I
was
gue-
the one
guess they
coming up.
did
I thought it was
enough.
this year. I thought it was the one like the next
No,
one.
it was supposed to be this Madden that's already out.
Oh.
This was supposed to be.
'Cause
the
I remember
make or break
hearing
game.
about that, like, and then I just totally forgot about
That's what they
it.
did.
Which, don't get me wrong, they did make improvements, but the game is still buggy, and we're in
Well,
January.
Yeah, some like the Madden cheese is just like annoying. Like players will
Completing
be
pa-
completely turned around, and then they still can pick it off on you.
Oh,
It's
dude,
like,
that's the most irritating thing.
or like you have a wide open receiver and your quarterback has 98 throw power on a go route and he underthrows him.
yeah.
You know, like when we play threes and all that, you have corners making picks. You know, like this.
Not
like-
even looking.
They never look at the ball.
I
They
get
just
it. I
pick
get it's a game,
Especially, yeah.
but like
Well, that's what, again, me and Eric was having this conversation last night. Like, this is a football video game, but again, they advertise it as simulation football.
Yeah.
And it does not simulate real football.
No.
It is so far from football. Like, the physics are off. Like, I threw a pick last night where I was super pissed because the linebacker jumped probably 8 feet in the air. I'm like, there's no way he's getting that. And especially with an NFL talent arm, and the ball's going to zip past him over the top anyways.
Yeah.
And then you got corners, just like this, and it bats off their hand.
But I mean, I am excited for NCAA though. I love that.
Completely different development team too.
It's about dang
them-
time.
They're competing with the development team of Madden.
Game. Oh hell yeah!
They better spank them.
It's
It
not.
shouldn't-
It's
it
not
shouldn't
going to
be
take
tough.
much.
It
It's not
shouldn't
going
be
to take
tough.
much. But again, they've been working on this
I
game
mean,
for
people
2-3 years now.
people
so.
still play the NCAA like 14. Like
It's
the
'cause
last
it's
one you
awesome.
got.
That's all they have.
It's the
It's
last
all.
one.
It's all they
Like,
have.
yeah.
And in those NCAA games were 10
They were
times
awesome.
better than Madden.
Yeah, because like you made a player and then like you didn't just get to go. You could go wherever you want, but you wouldn't be a starter. Like you had to pick like.
That's what I was
school.
telling Erica. I hope they return
You
that.
have to
when-
actually earn your spot. and
Yeah,
stuff.
you go through practice
don't
reps.
just, like-
you know what I mean?
I mean, you can do that because you can turn auto start. Like there's a
You can turn
setting. It's like
instant
auto
starter
start.
off,
Yeah,
but
instant starter.
still not
But
the
it's
same,
it's,
though.
it's not the same. You don't see your
Yeah, for
progression
sure. Yeah.
of like you usually typically you move from like third string, then you have to earn
Yeah.
second string.
Well, you can like when
and-
you're out of high school, it would give you the option like if you go here, you're going to be second string. If you go here, you're going to be third
Yeah.
string. Or you can go to like a really
Small-
really
yeah,
small
small
school and be a
school and start.
starter.
yeah.
But
And
then
that's
it's
what
like,
I usually did. I chose like
But you,
rice
can,
or
but
something.
you can also lose
you lose a
your
lot of,
starting role, your
yeah.
second string role.
Yeah.
You can lose all that.
and like
which
you
is-
don't always
In
just like, go
Madden,
undefeated.
in Madden, you
either.
could throw 4 picks in 8 straight games, and you're still going to be a starter.
Yeah, you don't lose your starting job.
Which hopefully, I hope that's like that in NCAA, where you just if you're bad, they bench you.
I have a feeling it's gonna be like the old games that came out.
I hope so.
You'd be able to create a brand new college. You fill them with nothing but like bum players.
Yeah, the Ivy Tech Titans. Let's go.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
since it's
AKU
NIL,
Norse.
is it going to be
Getting
actual
Norse
players?
up.
Getting to use the mascots.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
like the big names. I think
It's all going to be
Mascot
be actual
games.
players, right?
Not yet, that's
'Cause
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
it's going to be
fun.
actual players.
That's lit, dude. Heck yeah.
But it's like they needed to make another college game. I'm happy they are, but it can't be like Madden. If it's like Madden, it's just gonna suck and people are gonna hate it.
Yeah,
gotta-
it still gets old though.
I'm still buying the game to see what it's like, but it needs to be better. They need to bring back everything they had in the old games. Like I said, that's what the issue with Madden is today. They got rid of everything. Now they're bringing it back. I'm like, oh, look at this, it's brand new. Are you guys happy it's back? It's like she never left in the first place.
Well, they make most of their money on freaking Ultimate Team.
Well, that's
the issue.
that's another problem with like sports games is like microtransactions have absolutely killed it. Like it ruins it.
Yeah, literally like Call of Duty started doing
Like-
the battle pass like Fortnite.
You
because
guys
people
play
were
like you guys
freaking-
play 2K, right?
Yeah.
Like like My Park.
Yeah.
Like you will suck at that game
Yep.
unless you buy VC.
And people are like, I'm going to buy VC, be good at the park, play with my friends.
Exactly. Like they force you to buy VC.
Yeah, so you pay $50.
And I'm
for
pretty
a
sure on
game,
2K now
and
it's
you
like a
spend
league
another
pass
50
thing.
something.
50's cheap
Yeah.
for a video game now.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
70.
70. Yeah, I
70.
guess you're right.
But like that's and then like what I like about MLB The Show.
I get it for free.
That's what I like about MLB The Show.
That's
They don't
bad,
force
though.
you to buy stubs. They do give you ways to earn players and earn everything. But Madden,
As
I
long
mean,
as Jordan
it's not.
has
It
it.
doesn't force you in the microtransactions either, unless you do Ultimate Team, which I don't play Ultimate Team because I hate Ultimate Team.
Like you got
But-
people like Ethan, bro. Right when the game comes out, Ethan's buying like he's getting his guy to a 99.
Yeah, shout out to Ethan if you're listening to this.
Like that's just so funny. Like I'm just like, dude, you can just play games. Like that's why you like play your games. You earn your VC. Like you slowly build up and get better. He's like, nah.
Well,
First game, he's like a rookie. or
Well, I
he's
mean,
like-
I can't say I blame him during that COVID year and I first started getting MLB The Show. I dropped $600 on stubs.
Oh,
that
I
year.
remember. Yeah, I
Really?
remember. Yeah.
Because we got that COVID money and
Yeah.
I was
Man was wild.
I wasn't working and I was getting a paycheck every week from work for not working. So I'm like, okay, I have all this money. I bought my MacBook. I bought my PS5. I bought my stubs. I did not invest a single bit of money, which I should have. But I was, I was 20, so I was stupid.
Man's like, I want it all.
Then I did. I was like,
I
I
don't
got
blame you,
my iPad, got
Yeah.
my desk. I was chilling. As we wrap up the episode, I just want to get into like how this draft class is probably the best in regards to QB talent since 2020. You know, with Burrow, Herbert, Love, and Hurts. I did leave off Tua intentionally. Caleb Williams officially declared on the last day that he
Kinda
could
funny.
declare. If you were the Bears, what would you do with the first overall pick? Would you take Caleb?
If I am, the Bears? Or what
Yes,
do
if
we
you're the
think
Bears.
they're going to
Yeah,
do?
well, if you were the Bears, what would you do?
Probably honestly trade it. The pick.
Trade first pick?
Yeah.
I would
I was
take-
on the keep Fields, but you can get a lot probably for that. I wouldn't say a lot. I don't know how much Fields is going to be worth, but it's not going to be cheap. Like, you could still get good value and then still get Caleb Williams. Like,
My thing is, though, like, the teams right
Or
after
Drake
them
May.
need a quarterback. Like, it's not like last year to where, like, the Panthers had the 9th pick and they
Mhm.
traded for the first. Like, the 2nd pick and the 3rd pick are probably taking quarterback. So it's like, who you really going to trade with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
what team is going to give you a haul for that first pick that need a quarterback? Me personally, I'm probably taking Caleb Williams and trading Fields. You can probably get a decent little package for Fields.
I saw something about you could possibly trade Fields for the 8th pick to the Falcons.
I don't know if you'd be able to get a top 10 pick for him.
Probably
I know
not.
I saw that too, but
Falcons would.
you'd
pay,
probably be able to get a first rounder for him, maybe
Falcons would ever
at
pay.
the ceiling. That's be the highest you
Yeah.
could pay for him. But even if you got a couple of seconds, I mean that's still very, very good for him, especially because you're going to be taking Caleb Williams. I don't think you pass up on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I think he is better than Fields.
Yeah.
No, I think you have to take him. It's I know the fans don't want it, but
They will.
once
yeah.
if he comes in and is very successful, they'll forget about Justin
Yeah,
Fields.
because you can even take a weapon because they have the 9th pick too, right? Or is it 10th?
10th?
Right around
9th
yeah.
or 10th? 9 or 10th.
They'll be able to get like Malik Neighbors, or they'll be able to get like another really good receiver.
Or they can boost up that defense even more
Yeah,
if they want.
I mean, DJ Morris set career highs for him this year with Fields.
Yeah.
Imagine what he can do with
But
a
again,
really good quarterback.
Fields did miss like 6
That's
games.
the thing about
He
Fields. like-
did.
And again, your best ability is availability.
Like I think Fields is good, and he's gotten better each year. He's progressed.
100%, yeah.
But when you watch
And
him,
this, it's like it's not a diss towards
no,
Fields.
no, I just think Caleb Williams is better.
Yeah.
It's a business, and it's just that's the.
Like,
and
Fields is a starting
he
quarterback
has
in
a,
this league.
Caleb Williams
Yes, I
has
think-
like a way higher ceiling.
If I'm Ryan Poles,
Obviously,
if I'm the Bears
And
and,
it's a
I'm Ryan
business.
Poles,
you're gonna
I-
get him on a rookie contract. You're gonna have to pay Fields soon, right? He hasn't been
I
paid.
mean, yeah.
they still got his 5th year option. But
Yeah.
if I'm
Like,
Ryan Poles, I look at it
You
as
get benefit. from
I'm
trading.
blessed enough to be gifted this first overall pick
Yep.
with the most talented quarterback we've seen since Andrew Luck.
Yep.
Don't waste it.
You cannot waste
My
it.
thing is,
And you've been looking for a quarterback for so long.
even if he doesn't hit, right? Say he's Fields, because I mean Fields isn't an All-Pro type quarterback. He's not a Pro Bowler. Like he's good.
I think Fields does have that talent.
No,
Don't
he
get me
does.
wrong.
But I'm saying, say you draft Caleb Williams and he comes in and he throws. I mean, Fields threw for like 2,600 yards. Say, he comes in. Williams comes in and throws for right around 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, like 9 picks. You still already hit on that pick.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really waste anything. Like yeah,
As
maybe,
if Caleb Williams plays every game his rookie season, he's hit. They've hit.
yeah.
If they win 7 games, they hit.
So
And
just-
again, this does go on the fact of who they do hire at offensive coordinator.
I just think like when there's a layup pick at 1 and you draft him and he busts, that's not on you.
And I know people don't do the deep dives of Caleb Williams like I have the last couple of weeks. I've been watching interviews of him. I've been watching tape. His interior offensive line is probably the worst in college football. And people think, oh, he wants his ownership. He wants all that. He's not that great. He paints his nails. He cries at his mom's arms. What's the difference between doing that in public and doing that in private?
well, he doesn't really paint his nails. He painted "fuck Utah."
yeah.
Like I don't get why everybody.
Well, he does paint. He does paint something different on his nails.
Yeah, but it's not like he's not like rocking with pink nails every week.
Yeah,
Or like
no, it's not like
French
that.
tips. Like he paints like sayings like that.
I
Like,
watched his 40-minute interview last night with Jordan Palmer. He's a really heartfelt guy. He's a hard worker, super hard worker. He's super talented. He cares nothing more than about football.
Well, I mean, how many throws did he have to make out of the pocket too?
Oh,
I
too
mean,
many.
Like I just think, and I'm not even like he's just perennial like talent, this and that, but he is definitely the best quarterback in this draft, and he is definitely better than Justin Fields.
And the thing is, like, people like diss on his maturity because of like, oh, he was crying in his mom's arms, and like he in his post game interview, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go home and watch Netflix with my dog. You do have to understand he is 21 or 22 years old. He's a kid making millions of dollars. I mean,
he's just a quirky guy. Like I don't get why.
That's his that's his personality. Like his dog's name is Soups because his nickname is Superman, which he didn't give himself that
Yeah, his team
nickname.
did.
which he does act like Superman on the field because he has to. He does have to save USC almost every game. And, his arm talent is up there with Mahomes. Now, I'm not saying he's going to play like Mahomes or he's going to be as successful as Mahomes. I'm just saying based off of purely arm talent, he's one of the best we've ever seen.
And that's why I think Ryan Poles knows what to do.
Yeah, and he does have, his foundation of Caleb Cares, which is directed towards teenagers with mental health issues, and that's, great. That's something he wants to do, and that's something he's really passionate about. So, that kind of shows maturity in the kind of person he is. And people kind of don't look into that kind of stuff either. And I think I think Joel Klatt said it or something like that. If you're the Bears, or, you go to the combine, you ask Caleb Williams, do you want to be a Bear? And whatever he says from there, you go with.
I think, too, with the Fields, going back to where he would excel in Atlanta.
Oh, Fields would 100% excel in Atlanta. I don't think he would be, a way better quarterback than what he is now, but I feel like you give him Pitts, you give him Bijan Robinson, it opens up the run game a lot more. And you give him a disciplined coach like Bill Belichick or someone like that. I think they could really develop into a playoff winning team.
No, yeah, 100%. They were right there.
Now, obviously, I think it's going to take Caleb Williams probably 2 to 3 years to be
yeah, depending on if they hit
Pro
on this draft
Bowler.
or free agency too. He's not going to be a Pro
But
Bowler.
Ryan Poles is a great GM though. They have nailed their last couple drafts, and I would say they nailed the Justin Fields pick, and I would say they failed Justin Fields more than Justin Fields has failed them.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been hurt too.
I think it's also coaching. Coaching has just not been good.
No,
in
that's
Chicago
another thing.
at all.
I don't wanna,
obviously he's still not going to be as good as I think you still got to train him
I don't want to put all the blame on Justin Fields for how his career has panned out.
Yeah.
But again, I forget who said it. Someone was like, I hope if Caleb Williams doesn't want to play for the Bears, he expresses it because they're tired of these kids' careers getting taken away by the teams they're drafted to, which I kind of get, and if I'm a player, I kind of understand that. But on the outside looking in, they said the same thing for Joe Burrow. They said, Burrow, don't go to Cincinnati. Then he came here, completely shifted the trajectory of our entire franchise.
Well, that's what a perennial quarterback should do.
Yeah, and that's the same with I think the Colts, if they didn't have Peyton Manning beforehand, they probably would have been looking at luck like, hey, don't go to the Colts. But they came off of a lot of winning seasons with Manning, so it was kind of different. Like Trevor Lawrence, you're going to the Jaguars. No one really said anything about that. But it's really just kind of back to the whole Joe Burrow thing,
like Eli Manning in the Chargers.
Yeah, which I can't blame someone for wanting to be in charge of their career.
Yeah, no,
but at the same time, I think it opens up the opportunity of Burrow embraced it. Burrow's like, okay, I'm going to go to this failing franchise, and I'm going to turn them around and make them a future contender.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to come out and say you don't want to play for them, be ready for the repercussions.
Yeah.
And don't, you can't be like, well, everybody's hating on me. Dude, you just said you don't want to go there, where you're backing away from that challenge.
That's another. Also, that's the character thing, too. If you say you don't want that challenge, then it just seems like you don't.
Which, hey, you're, it's your career. If you don't want to go there, voice it.
That's why I said
Did it not come out that he – I thought he said that he didn't care.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. But people are painting that picture of him. You go on Twitter, you look up Caleb Williams, there's nothing but hate. Yeah. People do nothing but slander this kid's name. And it's weird saying kid because I'm only a year or two older than him. But
no, he's gonna ball out wherever he goes, though.
Yeah.
And honestly, it'd be kind of funny if he fell and went to a bet. If you're gonna pass on him, some team's gonna be like, oh wow.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But you look at last year's draft. Bryce Young went first. Caleb, I forget. Again, it was another show I can't remember. They went through the previous years. Caleb Williams over blank or blank. Burrow was obviously taking over Caleb Williams. I think they took Caleb Williams over Trevor Lawrence. They took Caleb Williams over John Elway. They took Caleb Williams over Peyton Manning. All these talents over because Caleb Williams is just that guy.
Yeah.
But again, it's just how he's going to how is he going to embrace the NFL? You can't be Johnny Manziel. Have all that superstardom, and they come in and just blank.
Yeah, you have to produce.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm probably going to get a Caleb Williams jersey. I'm a big fan of his.
Hopefully by then we can do a draft live stream or something for the first round.
Yeah. Again,
that'd be sick.
It's kind of like a Baker Mayfield situation too. The Browns were
we got
horrible.
Live reactions to clips,
and then he comes in, they win a playoff game, and then
or X. Sorry, not Twitter.
I feel like we had a lot of fun this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
ended on something I'm really passionate about. It's really, I'm trying to paint a lighter picture of Caleb Williams because I hate how draft prospects get hate like this every year, especially
for no reason.
especially when it's something like when it's happening to a good person. Like this really pissed me off. Like with Joe Burrow,
It's all because their team, like everybody had such high expectations for their team.
and I think
Like obviously Caleb played well.
and I'm thinking I'm like this because of Joe Burrow because that happened with Joe Burrow. People are like, "Well, you can't go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati sucks. They're a failing organization." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Okay, well, we'll see." And then we're in a Super Bowl two years later.
Why did no one say that about like the Browns when they were
Oh, people did.
going through
Well,
their
everyone says that about the
drafting
Browns.
QBs over 1 overall?
But that's where we're going to end it. We'll see you guys next week with episode 20. A lot of fun today. Let's have a good week.